specific wish that your Mr. Smith deliver the eulogy, that was all.
This is Mr. Smith. Let me quickly assure you that Mr. Smith is not what he appears to be.
What is he, a giraffe?
And not just any kind of speech, but a great speech. Because it's not just any kind of occasion.
Can't believe it. I spent 6 months trying to isolate that equation, and it took you an hour.
Yeah, sometimes I dawdle.
You're incredible.
I like numbers, Ben. I always have, as far back as I can remember. Of course, that's only about 3 months.
Yes, when I must get back home, the wife will be worried. I really am sorry I was so late again. I'd blame it on my age, but I'm afraid that I've never been punctual since the day I was born. In fact, I'm told my mother carried me for 14 months. Can we meet again tomorrow at 2 o'clock?
Oh, sure. I think one more session ought to do it, Ben.
Oh, this has been such fun. I don't know what I'm going to do when our collaboration is finished.
Find something else to be late for?
See you tomorrow.
Good night, Ben.
Good night, my friend.
Everybody knows. It's my slipper, Tommy. How can that be a surprise?
If I may intercept, Miss Ellie, his point was merely that the scene has more suspense if Cinderella doesn't know the slipper is going to fit.
But it's her own slipper, Raymond. The prince is gonna think he's marrying a chowderhead.
Not always a drawback among royalty.
Anyhow, I didn't know the slipper was gonna fit Elle, and I've read Cinderella a dozen times and seen the movie.
A man born to be king.
What's going on?
Ellie got this lead in the school play, Cinderella. That's the title role.
All right, that's great, Ellie.
Thanks.
We've just been working on the climactic scene. If you will allow me to demonstrate. Miss Ellie, let me play the prince, and Mr. Atwood, you be Cinderella.
Who? Me? That's a girl's part.
Yes, one that would challenge even Dustin Hoffman, I suspect. Nevertheless, purely for the demonstration.
I ain't playing no girl's part.
I'll do it. I love breaking down stereotypes.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Now, in this scene, I bring the slipper and...
What's my attitude?
What? Oh, you're in love with the prince. Now, I bring the slipper...
What do I know him?
Know him? You danced with him at the ball. Now, I bring the...
Well, did we do the waltz or the foxtrot or what?
You did the mazurka. Now, stick that damn foot out. Sorry, sir.
Raymond, if the idea is to show Ellie how to play this, I've got to know what I'm supposed to be feeling.
Suspense, uncertainty, anticipation.
How can I be uncertain? It's my own slipper.
It's a magic slipper. It could have changed.
You could have changed, Dell. Your feet might have got all crippled up with bunions and corns and hammer toes from dancing.
Right. Mazurka bunions are very common.
Can we just do the scene? Suspense, Mr. Smith. Fluttering heart. Girlish trepidation. Now, you're Cinderella, and I'm the prince. Will you try the slipper on, Miss?
Ooh, gee, lack-a-day.
Lack-a-day. That's it.
What's wrong? Lack-a-day. Perfectly good word. Fair maiden swore by it. Read your Tennyson. Read your King Arthur.
That's okay, Raymond. I don't need any coaching.
I really admire you, Ellie. I could never do it myself.
As you've amply demonstrated.
Why not, Mr. Smith?
Oh, stage fright. I could never get up in front of people. I don't know how actors stand it.
Me neither.
A prominent politician once told me his secret method for overcoming fear of an audience was simply to picture them all naked. I recommend the method to Miss Ellie.
How's that supposed to work?
On the principle that one can't be intimidated or made to feel inferior by a person with no clothes on. Especially in grammar school.
He's never seen Cynthia Lombardozzi.
Where's Mr. Smith?
He should be in his study. I believe he's collaborating with Professor Trumbull.
No, he's not.
You already looked there?
I didn't have to. I just came from the Institute. Professor Trumbull died half an hour ago.
Should have been here. Do you think I got nothing else to do but just sit around here, stand around here and wait for him? Where is he? He's been supposed to be here an hour ago.
Mr. Smith,
This is just inexcusable, Judy. How long am I supposed to wait for him?
well, I'm afraid.
What's the matter with him?
That's what I came to tell you.
Seems incapable of arriving anywhere on time. They ought to call him the late Ben Trumbull.
Oh, Lord. Mr. Smith, please let me explain.
Like to go over there and drag him back here by the scruff of his neck.
No, you wouldn't. Trust me.
Better have one really great excuse for it this time.
He does. The best.
Would it kill him to pick up a phone and call me?
Mr. Smith, he's dead.
Punctuality is the courtesy of kings. Did you ever hear that? What?
He's dead, Mr. Smith. It was his heart. Apparently, he knew it was weak. He'd had previous attacks.
Oh, my God. Poor Ben. So sorry. I would have never said those things.
Of course not. I know that.
He was my dear friend.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith.
And he knew his health was bad?
Yes, he was living on borrowed time. The doctors say he should have died a year ago.
Poor Ben.
I was most sorry to hear about your friend, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, so was I, Raymond.
Life stinks.
Contemplating one's mortality is always depressing.
I wouldn't know. Never done it before.
What do you mean?
Animals don't know about death. We have no awareness of it.
Forgive me for being facetious, but even in the jungle, one must occasionally become aware that certain members of the tribe aren't getting around the way they used to.
Oh, yeah, we notice it. We just don't think about it.
Very sensible, I'd say.
I mean, we don't connect it to ourselves. We don't realize it's going to happen to us.
Maybe it won't. Maybe if you keep getting smarter, you'll find a way to beat it.
I don't think anyone is ever going to get that smart.
Come on, Bo. You did great.
Look at Bobo. Does he know how short life is?
He'll find out if he keeps that up.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, I'm really sorry to hear about your friend. I know how you feel. I remember the first time somebody I cared about passed on. It was my second grade teacher, little old Miss McDermott. Boy, I was heartbroken. But my mom told me, Tommy, don't you worry. Miss McDermott's up there and she's watching you every minute. And I really believed that. For 6 weeks, I wouldn't take my pants off even to shower.
Thank you. That's a comforting story, Tommy.
Come on, Tommy. Let's go and let the grown-ups talk.
Oh, okay. Come on, Bo. Come on, Bo. Come on.
Hi, Judy.
I am.
Hi, Judy.
Hi. Mr. Smith, I just came from the Institute. They read Professor Trumbull's will, and one of his wishes was that you attend the funeral.
Of course. I'll certainly want to pay my respects.
Well, there's a little more to it than that. Apparently, he also requested that you deliver the eulogy.
Me? The eulogy? Oh, no. Oh, no, I couldn't do that. That's terrible. I couldn't, in front of all those people? No, no. No way. Why couldn't I have died and he'd have to do the eulogy?
There's one more complication I didn't mention.
Oh, good. I thought things were going too smoothly.
Like everyone at the Institute, Professor Trumbull kept his work secret, even from his wife.
Standard procedure?
So she doesn't know about Mr. Smith. He's just a name to her.
Ah, I see.
That's why Dr. Klein feels that this is the kind of job that can only be handled by very special diplomatic skills.
Oh? What kind of job?
He wants you to tell the grief-stricken widow that the eulogy at her late husband's funeral is going to be delivered by an orangutan.
My condolences, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anything I can get you? A glass of water, perhaps?
Why is it, I wonder, we always offer someone in distress a glass of water?
As you wish. So. I understand Professor Trumbull had certain specific wishes regarding his funeral.
Oh, yes. He wanted it to be here at the Institute Chapel, and it was his specific wish that your Mr. Smith deliver the eulogy, that was all.
I see, yes. Well,
For myself, I ask only that it be dignified, Mr. Holyoke.
yes.
The old-fashioned notion of the funeral as spectacle, extravaganza, frankly, I've always found that vulgar.
Tacky.
All I want is quiet good taste.
Aha. Of course, taste is totally subjective. What one person finds vulgar...
I'm just hoping that your Mr. Smith will set the proper tone.
He'll set a tone. That's one thing Mr. Smith does. Everyone's agreed on that. He sets a tone.
Then I don't see there's anything more to be discussed.
Right. Listen, got a minute? I was just thinking maybe I should show you a picture of Mr. Smith.
A picture? I don't need to see a picture of him, Mr. Holyoke. We are talking about the same Mr. Smith my husband specified, I trust.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's no danger of mistaking him. For another Mr. Smith, I mean.
All right, then.
Maybe I should describe him.
Very well, Mr. Holyoke. Describe him to me. What does he look like?
Well, he's quite hairy. To begin with, rather hairy.
My late husband had a beard also. That's probably why they were good friends. They had so much in common.
Less than you think, I think.
Mr. Holyoke, this is ridiculous. This is tiring. This is unnecessary.
And this is Mr. Smith. Mrs. Trumbull.
Mrs. Trumbull, let me quickly assure you that Mr. Smith is not what he appears to be.
What is he, a giraffe? Water?
Now she wants water.
Mrs. Trumbull, Mr. Smith is a genetic wonder. Talks fluently. He has an almost unmeasurably high IQ.
If this is a joke, I think it's an extremely bad taste.
It is not a joke. It is the truth, which is why it's been kept such a closely guarded secret.
You knew your husband was working on a confidential project. Now you can see why he wouldn't discuss it with you.
I'd have had him put away.
Mr. Smith is a top advisor to your government. Scientists and statesmen consult him every day. He was your husband's closest friend.
I should have had him put away.
Mr. Smith, was also very fond of him. He is a brilliant and thoughtful person who would never do or say anything to embarrass his friend's memory.
If you don't want to go through with it, Mrs. Trumbull, you have every right, of course.
No, no. I find the idea repellent. It's grotesque, and I think it's an abomination. But it seems to have been my husband's wish, and I will not thwart that wish. Tell your Mr. Smith I'm grateful. By the way, I assume this ape owns a dark suit.
How's it going?
Not so great.
I like this first part.
No, Tommy.
The quick, sly fox jumped over the lazy brown dog. It's kind of poetic. What does it mean?
I was testing the typewriter to make sure all the letters worked. You see, that single sentence has the entire alphabet in it.
That's incredible.
Well, I don't know how incredible it is. It's just a trick.
It's a great trick. You gonna do it at the funeral?
No, I don't think so, Tommy.
Well, don't worry. You'll come up with something.
Mr. Smith.
Hey, Raymond, it's a great trick.
I've just seen Mrs. Trumbull and told her you were preparing the eulogy.
Oh, yeah? What did she say?
She was overcome, speechless at first.
I wish I were.
Having a little trouble composing your remarks?
I've never even been to a funeral. I don't know what to say.
Well, often the speakers offer recollections of the departed. What do you remember about Professor Trumbull?
He was my best friend at the Institute. I liked him a lot.
Well, that's a little general. Specific anecdotes are much better. Try to recall the personal idiosyncrasies that capture the individual.
Well, let's see. He was always late.
Good. And you have some amusing stories about his lateness?
No, it was very annoying. Bothered everybody, especially me.
Ah. What else?
He had dandruff. Used to scratch his scalp. He scratched a lot. Reminded me of Bobo. You know, I think that's why we got along. He was very much like one of us apes. Used to scratch, shuffle, grunt.
Basically, I think the best approach to these things is to keep them very general.
Feels a little tight, Raymond.
I can't help it. You're growing too fast. It fit fine on Friday.
Don't you think I should have a little more glitter?
More glitter? This is supposed to be Cinderella, not an evening in Las Vegas.
I mean, she's going to a dance.
You look fine.
Raymond, do you think this tie's too bright?
Too bright? Navy blue?
How about some sequins?
No, that would be completely wrong.
On me.
You don't need sequins.
I think black would be better than navy blue.
You don't have a black tie.
What about some feathers?
You're already gaudy looking.
What I'm afraid of.
Not you.
I want them to gasp and point when I enter.
I'd kind of like to avoid that.
I should have a veil.
So should I.
Please. You must trust me in sartorial matters. Miss Ellie, you dazzled them in the play. Mr. Smith, your attire could not be more suitable for a funeral.
And why am I so nervous?
Momentary stage fright. You'll get over it as soon as you start speaking. There is a tranquility I have found about the last rites, a deep sense of peace that comes from contemplating our final rest, that can be very soothing.
And if that doesn't work, try picturing the widow naked.
Dear friends, we are here to say goodbye to Professor Trumbull, our colleague for so many years. Toward the end of his life, he spent a great deal of time working with Mr. Smith. And it was his final wish that Mr. Smith, his good friend, should say a few words about him today. Mr. Smith?
You know, coming here, I was worried about my appearance. I don't mean my face or my feet. I can't help those. I was worried about my tie. You believe that? My best friend dies, and I'm worried about the color of my tie. I didn't want to be conspicuous. I wanted to be dignified. I didn't want to make a scene because that's the way humans behave. And I know the things I'm supposed to say. That you aren't really in there, Ben, because you're here in our hearts. And that's true, but it doesn't help. I'm sorry, but it doesn't help. Maybe that's what humans say, but I'm just an animal, and animals cry out when they're afraid or lonely or in pain, and I'm all those things now. I want to make a scene. Somebody I cared about is gone, and I want everybody to know how much it hurts. Ben, it's not all right to leave us. And inside, I'm howling so loud it would scare you if you could hear it. We all are. Don't be fooled by the polite smiles and the hushed voices. We hurt. We hurt. You never could keep track of time, and now you left too early. And we rage because we have to finish up without you. I hate your death. We all do. We all curse this day, and we can never stop cursing it. Any more than we can never stop loving you.
Mr. Smith, thank you. I'm proud you were my husband's friend.
I am, too.
I wonder if I might ask one final favor of you. It would mean a great deal to me.